Hi everyone. Um, and it's amazing. It's hard. First of all, yoga is hard. People who think yoga is just sitting there like breathing and stretching. I mean, on one hand, the teacher I had was always like, the goal is the breath. Breathing is, that's what you're there to do. But it's hard. Like if you're really getting into those stretches, it is really hard, and it is a beautiful um way to challenge yourself. It's really challenging to way to push yourself and to keep breathing through something that's difficult. Um, and it's no surprise. It's an ancient. I don't know if it's ancient's the right word, but that it is a spiritual tool because it does challenging the body and the mind. And you learn a lot about yourself. I mean, I sit there sometimes and I'm like, oh my God, another pose, and we haven't been able to put my arms down. I'm dying here. Like, that's what's going through my mind. And then I have to think about it. It's like, just breathe. You can do it. And if you can't, put your arms down. There's no, there's no judgment here. I don't know. It's really interesting. So I think some of you may want to dabble this month in yoga or meditation, and maybe some of you do. I think people are drawn to this channel that may do that, or maybe you want to get back into it. But any sort of going for a walk is a wonderful way, I think, to meditate or um, be mindful and present and grounded. There are many different ways, but I think something that focuses on your breath and stillness and mindfulness, it would be of importance this month. And you also have the Hanged Man. Now, I always like to say the Hanged Man here, he has a choice to make. He can either sit here and complain and fight and be like, oh, this, it's someone else's fault that I'm up here, and this sucks and it's terrible, and fight and exhaust himself. Or he can go, this is not ideal, but I rarely have time to be still. And why don't I take advantage of the stillness? It's kind of like when I get stuck in traffic. Every once in a while on the way to work, like the interstate will come to a complete stop, and it will take me, 45 minutes to go what takes me 3 minutes. And it's like sometimes I sit there getting really upset, but it's like, you know what, Jen? There's nothing you can do about it. Why don't you just enjoy your podcast, listen to some music, and chill? Like, calm down. Like, what is getting upset about it going to, how is that going to help anything? And I also can have some time to do some thinking, to breathe. I could use that as a time to breathe. So it's using your time wisely and looking at. He also is looking at things from a different perspective. I challenge anyone to go up against a wall or go outside and or even lay on your back with your head like facing down a hill if you can't do a headstand or whatever, and look around. It's disorienting. It's especially outside. It's just very different because we're not used to looking at things that way. So it's challenging you to look at things a different way. If you're struggling with um, a challenge, something you're having trouble figuring out, there are a couple of ways this card would say. One, go for a walk. Like when I was in school, sometimes I would have done the work and I have to write a paper and I couldn't put one sentence together. I couldn't put a phrase together, let alone, like, I knew what I wanted to say, but getting it from my head to the paper, it just wasn't happening. And I would go out for a walk and I would, listen to music or just whatever, not think about it if I could. And by the time when I come back and I sit down, all of a sudden it would just flow out like so fast, and it was just there. So sometimes taking a break helps, but sometimes also just turning things on its head and looking at it from a completely different angle is also required. You do have right in the middle of the reading the Tower card. And I really like the depiction in this card because you can see this, sure, it looks like a big fortress, right? And a solid tower, but if you look from the back, it's a facade. It was crumbling. It was not solid. It was not a big solid structure. It was just a facade. And so sometimes it's like to let go of things or to see past the mask, the facade of something will require some contemplation, some change in perspective, and then you'll be able to see the truth in a situation, that it was not as it seems, or that you were applying. This is a lot of people do. I do this. It's like you assume certain qualities on another person. Like you assume they're a good person. You assume they have your best interest at heart. You assume they're thinking about things and see things the way you do. And that can be to the point where when they show you who they really are, you don't really believe it because you've constructed this way you think someone is in your mind. So that's another message I'm getting to when people show you who they are, believe them. If you see a concerning behavior, believe that. Don't make excuses. Don't, if you not want to accept it because it's like, whoa, what was that? Oh, I'm sure they were just stressed. I'm sure they're just like, no, maybe they have issues. Think about it that way. So you may be, a facade of something that you built up or someone had built up. You're going to see for what it really is, which is really good because you don't want to spend any more time on a situation that is faulty. Where do I want to go next? At the bottom of the deck, you have the Empress. So she's Mother Earth. She's grounded and bountiful and fruitful, and she gives birth to things. She nurtures things. And you have the star up here, which is healing. So it's interesting. There's a skull. For me, it's like it's a process, bodies decompose back into the earth and then, help new things to grow. So she's a cycle of rebirth and birth. When she comes up, she cautions you, or she encourages you. She encourages you. She nurtures. She doesn't force. She doesn't make demands. She doesn't say this is the way it is. So it's a different way of like looking at where you might be being controlling, and maybe you're trying to control this situation, control someone else, when you're realizing you're like, you know what? I can't control anyone else. I can barely control myself. And if I thought I was going to make something work by controlling someone else or controlling something, it's like, now I got to step back. And this is, I think, with kids, super hard. It's like nurturing them without, who likes to be forced? You know what I mean? No one does. So taking on an approach of nurturing and trying to inspire and be a good example instead of telling someone else how it's going to be. There's another energy I'm seeing, like this different approach you're taking. I think you're going to pass on a relationship. I think you're going to, like, this night, like someone may come to you and you're going to let them walk on by because you're going to see that it's a facade somehow. It's not right. It's not something that really, it's like, I'm not going to just be with someone because I don't want to be lonely. Maybe I need some time to myself. So you are going to let someone pass you by, and I think it makes sense for you and what's going on. You're motivated about something. You want to focus on yourself and what's inspiring you and positivity, and you want someone else that's going to nurture that and go along for the ride with you, not that's going to sort of come in and put their own wants and desires and make above yours. It's like you need time to do what you want, and you don't want to control anyone else, but you don't want anyone else controlling you either. And this is wisdom. This really is wisdom, that you're like, I can't control things. I need to let go. I need to look at things from a different perspective. All these things that are coming out that I'm saying, it's all those sort of lessons in life, the lessons of the major arcana cards. Some of you might want to go on this. I always look at this card like, here's the city card and here's the country card. You want to get grounded with that Empress. You want to go into nature. You may want to move to the city. You may want to garden, but you want something to grow. Grow a new career, grow your money, grow yourself spiritually. You may want to move. I think you're going to make some once you kind of have this realization of the tower of a facade, you're like going to be looking for things that are really simple but real. Like you're not going to want a big fancy house that you're house poor, that you can barely afford. You're not going to, you know what I mean? You're going to want a house that it's sustainable, that you can pay the rent or the mortgage. It's where you want to live. It feels good. It's home. And it doesn't matter what other people think or what it looks like. You want it to be solid. You don't want it to be lacking substance. And you're going to find this Eight of Pentacles is known as the Apprentice card, the artisan card of this hard work, but it's all about, for me, it's almost a spiritual experience. So you're doing something that you're so focused when you're doing it, it energizes you. It's not like going to a job you don't like where you feel exhausted at the end of the day. It's like doing it, it brings peace and calmness to you. It almost does the opposite. It energizes you. It feeds your soul. It gives something to you by doing this work. And I think that's like where your focus is going to be. It's like, you're going to want calmness, peacefulness, meditation, mindfulness. Like you're really going to be, in spring in the Northern Hemisphere, it's going to be like gardening. Maybe you're going to start a vegetable garden, and things like that. Like you're going to want to grow things and nurture things, start your own business. Just start something that really feels good to you inside. Okay, I don't need to keep going over and over again. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and take care.